Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for a breakfast with Blaha. Today let's talk a little bit about diet quality, because this is one of these topics that gets really confused in the industry. And flexible dieting crowd, if it fits your macros, are bad about not fully understanding this, because they get so caught up in purely cosmetics, because again, that whole community comes from the aesthetics and bodybuilding type world. They get so caught up in cosmetics that they forget about health and quality of life. And as they will often point out, really the only thing that matters is your macros, and it will determine how much body fat you lose or gain or whatever. And they're technically right. Okay, they are technically right. And this is why this creates a problem, because people will argue against that. And they'll say, no, you can't be right, because I know for a fact if you eat a bunch of table sugar and you're in a calorie deficit, you won't lose as much weight or you won't lose fat at all. No, you're actually wrong. It's been studied, it's proven. They're right. So if you don't understand that, you're going to look really ignorant when you argue against these people. You will, because you are being ignorant. And I'm not saying you're not right, because you probably shouldn't be sitting around eating a bunch of refined sugars. Right? It's not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. You shouldn't be sitting around consuming a bunch of refined fats. Okay, notice I didn't say vegetable oils, I said refined fats, because that would include things like butter. Butter's a refined fat. Keto people, paleo people don't like it when you say that. And look at your blood work. People who do keto and you throw a bunch of butter into your diet, I promise you have elevated LDL. This is what every doctor I know who works with lifters and people in the fitness world notice. Ones who add a bunch of butter, not just pure dairy fat, because again, less refined. Butter is a refined fat. It's a highly refined saturated fat. It will make your lipid profile look worse. And yes, LDL, elevated LDL will kill you. There's good data on that now. That's no longer a controversial statement. It takes a real long time. LDL doesn't cause damage in the short term. It's what it does over 20 years. And only if it's out of range. We're not saying that if you're in the normal range it's a concern. And again, you make a statement like that, these clowns will say stupid stuff like, well, dietary cholesterol. No one said dietary cholesterol. Why are you moving the goalpost? I said a refined saturated fat. That is not dietary cholesterol, because you're right. For most people, again, most people, that means about 2/3. Dietary cholesterol doesn't seem to affect blood lipids. For genetically about 1/3 of people, it does. But you're right, for most people it doesn't. But that's not what we're talking about, is it? That was never brought up. And they always use that line because, again, they're too ignorant to know the difference between dietary cholesterol and excessive saturated fat, particularly a refined fat. Okay? Refined fats, refined sugars. You probably shouldn't have much of these in your diet if you care about your health. You can lose body fat just fine eating them if you have a calorie deficit. That's actually true. The research is overwhelming, and in fact, in the short term, your blood work will still improve. All right, look at the researcher who did that whole Twinkie and Mountain Dew thing, the Twinkie diet. He lost 30 pounds doing the Twinkie diet, eating nothing but Twinkies, having a protein shake and a multivitamin every day. His blood work improved. Why? Because he lost 30 pounds of fat. However, his blood work would have looked better had he not eaten junk food. But that's the point. Same thing when we bulk up, right? When we bulk, we have to bulk to gain muscle. Sorry, you guys who think you're going to reach your maximal muscle potential without gaining a significant amount of body fat, not going to happen. Not drug-free. No way. No way. You're going to have to bulk and cut multiple times. When we bulk, food quality matters, because your blood work will look worse. And when we bulk, our blood work will look worse for a little while. But considering the fact if you're highly athletic, you're doing plenty of conditioning, you eat a decent diet, you're obviously strength training. If you're bulking, strength training hard, it offsets that a bit. But this is another reason we don't bulk forever. It's why we eventually need to trim it back off. Okay, your blood work will look worse sometimes when you get deep into a bulk. It will, because you're gaining body fat. Gaining body fat always makes your health worse unless you're too lean. Right? Diet quality matters. We can come over. We know the research shows that things like whole milk and eggs and everything else are actually very anabolic. Why are they anabolic? Because they add a lot of calories. Probably not the best thing for your blood work. If you're younger, it doesn't matter. If you're 22, I don't care. It's not a big deal. You're not at risk. Bulk like this when you're 35, I don't recommend it. What about people who are bulking on junk food? Well, same thing. And I have clients who have to do it. But in the long term, it's probably not ideal. Because let's come over to the other part. Okay? It's more than body composition. We have health to consider. We have quality of life, how good you feel. Okay? For example, you're losing weight, you're eating not enough whole foods with lots of fiber and everything else in them. You're going to be hungrier. Also, your energy level is going to be lower because your blood sugar might not be as stable. Okay? But you're going to be hungry. All right? Dieting already sucks. You want to be hungry all the time on top of it? Quality matters. Yeah, you can lose weight the other way. You're going to be more miserable. Was it worth it? Like, because you got to enjoy whatever that ice cream or pizza or whatever and fit into your macros, is it worth the hunger that you're going to experience? I don't believe it is, personally, my opinion. But you know what? I don't like hunger. To me, hunger is miserable. I don't like being hungry. Maybe you can tolerate it better. Your perspective. But still, we have to think about, again, quality of life. And I think the best way to look at it is, look, if you go and you buy a Ferrari and you're supposed to put premium high octane fuel in it, do you really want to run it on the cheapest gas you can buy? You could. The Ferrari's going to look just as good. It's going to look just as good, right? Everyone's still going to be like, oh man, he's got an awesome Ferrari. Wow, that's a nice car on the outside. This is where we come to the difference of diet quality. You can look fine on the outside. How are you performing? Well, that car is going to work a lot better on better fuel. It's going to work better. And we come over to the other point. What about when it breaks, right? Because again, lower quality fuel causes detonation and stuff in the engine. Right? Low octane fuel, low quality fuel with a high compression engine. You get detonation and stuff. You get extra carbon buildup in the engine. Right? You have some problems here. You break down easier. Here's the problem. It's your body, though. When your body breaks down, it gets real expensive. You've eaten a shitty diet that's going to give you cancer. Right? You're in a country like America, you don't have good medical insurance or really good medical insurance, you're not rich, you get cancer, you're going to be broke. You're going to be destitute. Right? Your shitty diet, because I just worked all this junk into my macros, I can still eat donuts every day and just work them into my macros. All right, sure you can. What are the health consequences going to be? Is it worth it? Again, I would argue it may not be. So this is the problem with the diet quality. It's not that it's going to affect the cosmetic, because it may not. Calories in, calories out, macros, that's really what matters. What about your performance? What about your health? What about your quality of life? Well, this stuff matters. So I would go back to the other people who are saying, no, that can't be true. You can't lose body fat. Do it. No, you totally can. You totally can. But it's not the most healthy way to do it. Right? It's not optimal. It's not ideal. And that's kind of the point here. There can be consequences to eating that way. Because again, how you look, the appearance of your physique is not the single most determining factor in how healthy or fit you are. And that's what it comes down to. And diet quality matters a hell of a lot. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.